Now, she has been left off of the Olympic team. 12 players have made it, and she did not. She said there was no disappointment, adding, quote, "I think it's just a little more motivation." There have been a lot of polarizing opinions on this topic. This will be the most debated conversation we will have all day, so buckle up and get ready. Joy, asking you first, was it disrespectful to leave Caitlin Clark off the Olympic roster?
No, I don't think it was disrespectful to leave Caitlin Clark off the Olympic roster. She is not one of the 12 best professional basketball players in the United States of America right now. The goal of the U.S. women's basketball team is to win a gold medal, is to win. That is their goal. That is the goal of the people that put this team together. That is the goal of the team heading to Paris. And that should be their only goal. Ratings is somebody else's problem. And that is not the priority, nor should it be even considered when you're talking about putting together a roster that is going to compete at the highest level at the biggest stage in the world, which is the Olympics. Remember how salty we got when the men weren't winning the gold. That was a problem. We're not getting involved in this. This is the best team in the world. It is a very hard team to make. They take a lot of considerations for who makes this team, not just who the best players are, but how they're going to play together, because they aren't just assembling an all-star group. They're putting together a team of players that have to play together. Caitlin is going to have an incredible career. She will have an opportunity to go to the Olympics. She will have an opportunity to develop as a player. I think she is going to be one of the greatest players that the game has ever seen. I've enjoyed watching her start in the WNBA. But all of those factors, the ratings, the popularity, people paying attention to it, growing the game, that's not the responsibility of the U.S. women's national team. That is not their goal and responsibility. So I don't think it's disrespectful to her. I think it was, I'm sure, greatly debated and evaluated with a lot of care because they knew there was going to be a lot of discussion about this. But when it comes to the actual competition, you cannot simultaneously say that you care as much about ratings as you do about winning unless those things completely align. And in this case, they don't. So you have to prioritize what your goal is, which is winning.
I totally disagree. Totally disagree. I think it's one of the dumbest moves that the WNBA has ever done, right? Now, you talked about the 12 best players. She is not one of those. I will say that. Caitlin Clark is not one of those, for sure, right now. Mm-hmm. But when you look at this, the Olympic team, the 12 best women go over and play in the Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. They're, if I'm not mistaken, they won 7 in a row?
Yeah, 7 gold medals in a row.
7 gold medals in a row. So winning ain't really that. No. Y'all ain't sure about the winning part. Y'all gonna do that. But when you talk about growing this game, right? Angel Reese said that it's 2 of them that's grew the game, but I would say really Caitlin has really grew the game. So if you look at the NBA, you look at the NFL, one thing they want to do is they market. They want to make more money. How do you do that, right? You make the game a little safer so players are always playing, right? And the other thing is you go out to different countries to get this going, right? Same thing with the Dream Team back in the day, right? It was Michael Jordan. He was the big name and all that, and he started developing the whole game a certain way across the country. So you look at Caitlin, it's like, yo, this is the biggest player we have in basketball ever. We're not saying the best, but the biggest. Yeah. So now when people are tuning in to watch these games, it's not just me talking, it's all the numbers. From going from 4,000 people going to 17,000 average, the attendance. Yeah. Talking about the viewerships. They average like 2 million viewers every time they play. So now you take the biggest draw of WNBA basketball players, you take her away to replace her with who? For who? Why? So now people that was watching before, are they going to watch again? People in other countries, they know who she is. Are they going to watch her now? When they go to the games, they want autographs. They want to see the women play. Who are they going to see? That's a serious thing. So now when I look at the commission, I look at the group that put us together, it's like, yo, y'all dropping the ball. This is stupid. Y'all going to lose money. The max you can make in a women's contract is what, $250 a year? Is that what it is, $250?
I believe on the court, yep.
Come on, man. Listen, if you want to grow the game out and make the game bigger, not just for Caitlin, but for the whole league for years to come, you put this girl on the roster, right? You market it a certain way. You take her to other countries and let them see her, right? And now the money drives up and everybody can make more money. This is dumb for them.
I don't think it's disrespectful at all. Shady touched on it, Joy touched on it.
Hey.
Right now, at this stage of her career, she's not one of the 12 best players in the world. She's not. I appreciate it because finally sports did what sports was supposed to do. Forget how much you're going to grow. Forget the name. Go with the best basketball players in the world. And I think that's what they did here. Caitlin Clark is going to be a great basketball player. Has Caitlin Clark grew this game? Absolutely. But she's not the 12th best. So you're sitting here telling me just because she is Caitlin Clark and she might bring some attention, I'm going to leave a player off that she's not better than. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's disrespectful to Caitlin Clark. She's going to be on a bunch of Olympic teams. She is still going to grow this game. Right now, where we are at today, it sucks that these girls are better than her right now, and that is what it is, and it's okay. She will get better. But they went over better players, putting together a roster that they felt was the 12 best players in the world over trying to get notoriety and grow the game and all that, because I hear people say, grow the game, grow the game, grow the game, and that is good. The game is going to grow. It is growing a large part because of Caitlin Clark. But these girls right now in their career deserve to be here and are better basketball players than Caitlin Clark. So I don't think she should feel disrespected, and she said all the right things, even though I know it's probably eating her up. But she said the right things, but she should not feel disrespected. These girls that they picked are really good basketball players to go represent the USA.
I'm torn. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think everything y'all have said has been brilliant. I think, Shady, you're right. I don't think it was wise as it pertains to viewership. James and Joy, I believe that y'all are right. She's not one of the 12 best players. But I love Olympic sports because track and field is my favorite sport to cover, albeit I love covering football, basketball. Track's really my favorite sport. It's an Olympic sport. The 12 best don't always go. And I don't believe the 12 best are going right now. I don't believe Diana Taurasi is one of the 12 best. I believe she's a legacy pick. I believe she's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But when you talk about Agumba Wale, who plays for Dallas, she's dropped 20 straight in 9 straight games. That's tied a WNBA record. Yeah. I mean, she's cold, like one of the coldest. She's not on the roster. I don't believe the 12 best always go. Sometimes there are legacy picks. Sometimes there are just, hey, we respect what you've done. We respect your role in this sport, whatever the sport may be. We've also seen it in track and field. I'll get to that later if need be. So I don't know that it's the 12 best that are going. The reason I don't have an issue with it, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's best for Caitlin. I truly think it's best for Caitlin. Like, for so long, we have been getting as much juice out of the squeeze as Caitlin as possible. To make her play 11 games in 20 days. Y'all wonder why the best game she's played all season was when she finally got some rest? Most recently, she just dropped 30 points on 7 of 12 from 3. Why? Because she finally got rest. She went to the podium after the game and said, well, for the first time all season, we've been able to practice plays at full speed. All we've been able to do is walk through plays because we ain't had no time off. Unique to women's sports, particularly women's track and field and women's basketball, when you leave college, you don't have a break before the Olympics. So if you're sending Caitlin after the basketball season in college to the draft, then after the draft, you go from Iowa to Indiana. Then you play 11 games in 20 days. You've played 12 games while some teams have only played 9. Then in the midst of that, you leave America. Now you got to go to Paris. She ain't got no time to recover. And not only that, you're going to drive a wedge between her and the rest of her sorority sisters in the WNBA if you give her a spot that she hasn't necessarily deserved. Yo, we've all been on sports teams.
But she's helping them out.
She is.
Let me ask you, do you think that the women's game, it helps them, her not on this list, than if she is on this list? This is an easy question.
No. In regards to what?
Yeah, in regards to what?
The game.
Well, she's not going to play much. If she did make the game, she wouldn't play much.
It's not about that.
She's talking about growing the game.
Yes.
Growing the game,
So the WNBA and the U.S. women's national team are not the same entity.
Two separate entities.
The WNBA is the league. The U.S. national team is the U.S. national team. They are not the same thing.
Okay, so it's women playing basketball from WNBA, correct?
Yes.
So y'all don't think it's going to help if it's two different entities, I get that. You don't think it's going to still help the WNBA?
I'm not arguing that it wouldn't help grow the sport. What I'm trying to figure out is why is it the U.S. women's national team and the U.S. women's commission that puts together this team, why is it their responsibility to worry about ratings? Their responsibility is to the integrity of the U.S. Olympic team that they're putting together to go across to Paris and represent the United States of America and win a gold medal.
Right.
Their concern should not be about ratings. Some things have to remain about the sport. They did this before with Christian Laettner. This has happened before. This is not even new.
And he played on that team. He
played on that team because they were beating him by 40. And Shaq didn't make it. And had Shaq made it, they would have an entire team, a dream team of everyone being Hall of Famers. And Christian Laettner wasn't a bump. But
he was the best player in college basketball.
Yes, he was.
Right, played for Duke. He was an all-white hope, right? Yeah. So it was a marketing thing.
And you had to reserve a spot.
So my thing is like, there's nothing wrong with that, though, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but if there's also nothing wrong with them saying, cool, but we're going to focus on the winning. Women's sports is not a novelty. Like, this is about competition. Like, at some point, it has to be about the sport. I'm all for the business. I'm for it.
The competition,
I think all the conversation is, even if it is hostile and polarizing, and even if some of it is completely off the rails, I think it all is good for the sport because we are talking about it here on these shows, which I think is a overall positive thing.
Of course.
The problem is, I can't get with it getting so far that it's compromising the competition. Laettner was criticized. Like that, it's not like that move and everyone was like, cool. Like, there was conversation about whether he should have been there. He played not a lot because there were so many better players on that. It's his first year in the league. So there's parallels there for sure. But what is the growth if she's not playing as well?
I'll say this. It's times where she had a long period of time where she wasn't really playing great, right? That didn't stop the viewership. People still watched it. All I'm saying is this.
But why is the viewership the responsibility of the Olympics?
Let me tell you why, because I get what you're getting to, but at the end of the day, it's all to grow the sport out. It's all to make more money for the league, make more money for the players playing there.
The league and the Olympics are two separate things.
You keep saying that, but they are them girls playing. It's part of watching them play.
They could work in tandem. Obviously, they're different. Obviously, they're different. But I guess to Shady's point, if you heighten the eyeballs around the U.S. women's Olympic team, that too will translate and it will pour into the bucket of the W.
But last point before I'm done, James. So let's just say, okay, so she's not playing on that, right? Now, we don't know what the viewership is going to be like, right? I guarantee it's not going to be what it would be if she was playing. Yeah. All I'm saying is it's easy for us to talk like this about it because in NFL, the money's going up, right? Yeah. But there was a point in time where it wasn't like that. Basketball, NBA basketball, it was a point in time where the money wasn't like that. Now it is. So you can talk that way. All I'm saying is, for so long, women, they've been complaining about, hey, we need more viewership. We need more money to our game. Show us more attention. Make more awareness. You remember this? Ask some players to come out to the games. That was the point that we really lived at. Yeah. What I'm saying is now it's changed. You got everybody watching, right? And this young girl from the Fever, Caitlin, has a big part of that. All I'm saying is, yes, she probably should have made the team because she's not better than them 12 players. Right now, she's not. But for to make the game evolve and be better and get more viewership so we all can make more money and make this sport bigger, put this girl on the team.
Here's my question for everybody, because we all know, and we've watched Olympic teams long enough to know, sometimes they just choose a player for the sake of choosing them, right? Larry Bird, he shouldn't have been on the dream team. Larry Bird, he retired that year. His back, he couldn't even walk. I mean, the dude's back was completely maligned. Magic Johnson, obviously, he had his off the court stuff. He didn't play that 92 season. Selected to the All-Star team off Magic Johnson's name, plays on the Olympic team. Diana Taurasi, again, I don't believe she's one of the 12 best players, though she still do be getting buckets. She's 42 years of age. She has 5 gold medals already, all of the things. So I don't know that we always do choose the best player. We've seen that we don't always. So I guess, Joy, with that in mind, because I'm with you, for the most part, I like meritocracy in sports on the field. If you are the best player, you play. I love it. I live for it. That's just the truest origin of sport. But we've seen, Joy, when it comes to the Olympics, sometimes you keep a legacy name because of a name. You bring in a big star because of the stardom. The dream team, you got to have Larry Bird there. You have to have Larry Bird there. I don't care if he plays or not. He got to be there. So I do understand there is a vacancy of, you could have put Caitlin on it. They've won 55 games straight. They're not going to lose.
They're not going to.
They've won 7 straight gold medals. They're not going to lose. So Caitlin, maybe you just put her on the team, Joy, because you're going to win anyway. More eyeballs. This bucket of the Olympics, it pours into the bucket of the W, albeit Joy is exactly right. There are 2 separate buckets, 2 different coaching staffs, 2 completely different entities. That pours into the W bucket. It's a win. It's just a win.
But I would also say, when you're talking about putting these teams together, they're putting together a team. It isn't just the best players. We're talking about Arike, she should be on the team if we're doing the best players right now. They're putting together a team of players. When you look at a roster, isn't there usually a savvy veteran on that roster of any NBA team, of any WNBA team? Maybe they're not what they were in their prime, but they have other value from just production. They're putting together a team as well. I'll be honest with you, I was surprised that she wasn't on the team. I thought for sure they were going to put her on the team. For all the reasons that you're saying.
For viewership.
But I also can respect the reasoning behind why they didn't put her on the team and look at it from a basketball perspective for winning. All of this is cool. And I've honestly never had more conversations about ratings with people who aren't in television in my life. I'm like, when did y'all get, the executives must be so excited. Everybody's so worried about ratings now. You don't know how you even get ratings. Respectfully, you don't know how ratings work. I don't want to burst everyone's bubble, but it's much more complicated than you think. They pay people lots of money to evaluate ratings. You don't know how to do it. But the overall point is, I get what you're saying. They should grow the sport, more business, more eyeballs, more money, more conversation.
That's the truth of it.
I'm here for all of it. I am not concerned about the Olympic ratings at all, and neither should anyone who cares about basketball. They should be concerned about us winning a gold medal. Putting women in this category that they're like, it's like this circus act that this is only supposed to be about ratings. Like it has to be about the competition as well, and that's why everyone is getting so hostile, because it's like we're having these conversations, and if you're saying, okay, surface level, this is just about ratings, it's just about growing the game, it's just about business, then you can't simultaneously have the conversation about it being the best players. And this is the U.S. Women's Olympic team.
But every sport has went through this, though. When you're trying to grow the game out, there's things that you have to do to sacrifice to get it there.
Well, here's my question. Because Shady, I love this conversation. I hope y'all are as engaged and captivated as I am. Joy's right. I don't want to make it a circus, but we've all been around, and I've been around long enough to have gotten the text from the executives in the WNBA, hey, Acho, can you come out to a game? Yeah. This was before the W was popping. Like, yo, just come out to a game to show love. No, back in 2022 and I went. Obviously, but one of my best friends, Shanae Gumike, for the Sparks, former number one overall pick, I went, obviously. So it was going before it was popping. Now, I don't get those same texts. Yeah. They don't need Acho to show up anymore. Everybody else is showing up. But 4 years ago, Kyrie Irving donated $1.5 million to help cover WNBA salaries during COVID. Like, we're not so far away from the lack of W financial support because of a lack of viewership and because of a lack of ticket revenue and all these things. So, Joy, I feel you, and I do think Joy's exactly right.
This is the thing,
let me put the period to it, because I'm almost done, Jay. I think you're exactly right. But, Joy, when I remember those texts, when I remember Kyrie Irving donating $1.5 million to cover W salaries, I'm like, the alleviation of that is more viewership, more money for these women.
But at the end of the day, though, I understand where y'all coming from viewership, and it happens all the time, right? It happens when you're voting for the All-Stars, voting for the Pro Bowl. We talk snubs, we talk all this all the time. And a lot of times it goes off a name. It's a lot of players that I knew that had way better seasons than some of these big-time players, and these big-time players went because of the name, and you're like, bro, had way more touchdowns and yards, and this dude went. So that type of stuff happens. So that's why I respect it, because it's like, yes, Caitlin Clark will bring more viewership. The WNBA is doing fine now. May not have been doing fine when Kyrie Irving had to donate all that money, but it's doing fine now. They went over all these ratings and all that to these best players are the best players in the world, and they earned it and deserve it more on the basketball court than Caitlin Clark. That's where it's at. That's all it is. Right now in her career, she's not better than them. Ratings-wise, will she do that? Yes, but they didn't go for ratings. They went and put together a roster of the best girls in the WNBA, and I can respect that.
And I respect what you're saying, because I've been there where I got snubbed from, I'm better than this dude, and it's like he had a name in front of me and all that, but the NFL already was established there, though. Dudes making the type of money they making. The basketball for the women is not the same. So my thing is this, James, because you are right. I would love for the best player to play. You'll enjoy. I agree with y'all. But what I'm saying is it's a bigger picture. They are not there yet, right? I can't remember when people were just arguing back and forth about women's basketball. They are now. So now that you have that, monetize that. Get that thing bigger. Because if you don't, right, that's the truth of the matter. If Kayla's not be playing, I'm not going to say this, but I don't think most people are going to be watching that. For what? For who? Girls, there's been better players than Caitlin playing years ago. So ain't nothing changed.
So you just saying get it bigger beyond how good these players are.
Yeah.
Snub somebody else to grow the game.
Yes, soccer. You know why? Because the game, listen, real talk, the game is so big right now. It's never been there all these years.
I understand.
So my thing is, if you already have it, don't lose that. Now you have the chance to go out there and get people from different countries. Why the hell do you think the NFL was going to Germany and London to play football? Because want a vacation? No, to make the game bigger and make more money.
But where I will push back is what James said. When you get snubbed from a bigger name with lesser numbers, it's a snub. Mm-hmm. She's not better.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. So that's the inverse here. Like if you had a better season than somebody and they had less numbers than you but a bigger name, that is truly a snub. That's because of their name.
Right.
She's not better. And where the other bad parallel with the Christian Laettner thing is that we know the Dream Team was incredibly influential.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Dream Team was one of those teams that changed the course of basketball for the world.
Right.
It introduced the best players in the world internationally. People fell in love with basketball. It's a big reason why we have a lot of international players in the NBA now. Like it was all a genesis of that. It truly grew the game of basketball internationally. But Christian Laettner did not grow he was on that team, but he won the reason why it grew. The stars, the biggest stars in the NBA, the best players in the NBA were playing on that Dream Team are the reason why it grew. Okay. So Caitlin would be Christian Laettner.
She would not be. Just going people with her freaking jerk.
I'm not talking about visibility. She wouldn't play. I'm saying the reason why the Dream Team was influential is because Jordan was playing. She is the best. She's not
Jordan.
Our
Jordan. Yes, she is.
No. Jordan was great. I'm talking about on the court.
I get that. Y'all don't look at it one way. So I agree with y'all. But what I'm saying is when people, when the fans come to watch these girls play, right? The best of the 12, cool. They might not even know some of these girls. Who they are going to know is Caitlin. I'll give you an example. Nobody cared before she got there. True or false?
True.
Right. So what I'm saying is, I get what you're saying. Right. I don't use Christian Laettner because he's a great player. He's a better player than she was. But I'm just saying, like, what she means to the game, she's during Michael Jordan. And my thing is, if you want these fans and viewership to get bigger like it is, put that girl on the team.
Jordan was
not
playing,
the Jordan
is
on
what
the
I'm
court,
saying.
though,
They're going to be coming to see her in her warm-ups?
Bro, she ain't been Jordan. She ain't been Jordan this whole year. And every girl she goes, she's selling out.
But she's starting and she's playing a lot of minutes. She is going to be coming out there. And I believe she's going to play a lot, too, because they're going to win.
Yes.
And they're going to beat a lot of people
down.
Like, this has nothing to do. If Caitlin's on the team, they win in gold.
Correct.
If Caitlin not on the team, they win in gold.
Let's say she don't play like that, though. Do you think the fans still going to be there? You went to the game. They're going to be waiting for her.
See, I think that's a totally different conversation now because
this
they're
would be
going to
like
want to
if
play her.
Indiana wasn't playing her.
Here's my question, though. Can we all agree, though? Can we all agree that this, though? Whether we care or not, it is a hugely missed marketing opportunity for women's basketball in America.
I think everybody can agree on that.
Can we agree that? And I think that's where the tension lies, because if you are I forget the word, but if you are like a genuine, yes, thank you. If you're a purist and you just want the best players or the best team, whatever, she's not one of the 12. But there's a huge missed marketing opportunity because, as we all know, when you're in Europe, now you got BBC World News. You don't just have Fox and ESPN and Turner Sports. Like, now you got world news. Now you got CNN. Now you have
the country didn't even care until she got there.
The question wasn't, is it a missed marketing opportunity for Caitlin Clark to be left off the Olympics team? Is it disrespectful to Caitlin to be left off the Olympics team? And I'm sure that Caitlin will put a chip on her shoulder because of this, amongst a lot of other things that have happened to her since her start in the WNBA, which as an athlete is a good thing. It makes you work harder, and it puts her in a completely different headspace as she's developing as a young player. I think we will see lots of Caitlin Clark. I'm, again, personally surprised she wasn't on the team. From the marketing perspective, I'm on board with all of it. Like, I've been trying to talk about women's sports on these shows forever. I've snuck it in as many times as I can. I'm very happy to be talking about this, even if we disagree. Like, I think it's all a great thing, but I can see their line of reasoning.
Last thing, do you think it's a dumb move for her not to be on the team?
Let's ask that later in the show, because I'm writing that down. I'm writing it right now. I have it written. I want to revisit this conversation later on in the show, because I am curious, was it a good decision, is what I've written down, to leave Caitlin Clark off the team? You will not want to miss that conversation.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.